Hi, and welcome to Hypothetically Intentional, where we ask the question, what if we set intentions with everything we do? I'm your host, Michelle Albers. Today I have Josh Griffith with me. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Before we dive in, because I probably have a million ways I want to go today, I want to pause and set an intention.
Okay.
So my intention today is I feel like I want to lean into maybe some deeper, more vulnerable topics like men's mental health. But I also want to embrace, because I feel like this is a commonality between us. I want to embrace the humor that can be part of the process of moving
Sure.
through those things or moving with
Yeah.
those things, maybe is a better way to say it. So
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
excited. I'm excited that you're here. I
I'm down.
what I heard before we hit record is you're a man who wears many hats and gets
Yeah.
little sleep.
Yes. Yeah, I do wear many hats and probably I'm a serial entrepreneur, as someone I've said it before, and a serial volunteer. And yeah, 4 hours of sleep a night, probably, maybe five if I'm lucky. I take little naps here and there. I did a lot of research on like athletes and actors and celebrities, all that stuff, and they all take naps. I'm like, well, shoot, why shouldn't I do that? So I get like a 10 minute, a 20-minute nap sometimes throughout the day. If I'm in the office, they don't like that, so I make sure I do that when I'm at home. So we do that. But yeah, I mean, I do a lot of things. I can go into it if you want, like what
Well, let's
all
do it.
makes me, yeah, what all
What makes
makes
you
me tick.
tick?
What makes me tick? Oh man. So I've been an insurance agent for 14 years. So I've worked for a couple carriers here in Virginia, and I owned a farmers insurance agency for 5 years, almost 6 years. And now I work for an independent broker, commercial and personal lines. 4 years ago, in middle of COVID, obviously we were all there. Everybody was bored. Everybody had projects to do. Um, I decided to download TikTok and the rest is kind of history after that. So I like the influencer word and I hate the influencer word at the same time, because I think that um a lot of people get pulled into that, the negativity of it. But if you watch my content, it's the influencer side on a positive note. So you said it, like, you talked about humor and men's mental health and all those things that I kind of advocate for. So I do a lot of TikTok. I mean, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I go TikTok live a lot, and just kind of interact. I think that I'm a how do we say it? I love to connect just in
Yeah.
person, online, and I think that it's an easy way to connect with viewers. And the follower word is another word that I hate. Oh, I just when people are like, "Oh, you're a follower," like I think that it's those people are family to me. So whether it's
Yeah.
TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or what all the other ones, Lemonade, or what, there's thousands of them. They're all family to me. So I don't like the word followers. And I just kind of embrace that. I do a lot of mental health stuff and a lot of relatable content. I mean, I'm a single dad. I have a 19-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son, who were just like me when I was that age. I knew everything. I didn't want to, I didn't want to listen to parents and all of that. But also I'm an entrepreneur, so I have a couple businesses that I run, obviously social media stuff. So a lot of relatable content that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
And I think as men, we're back up. I was born, raised, I was a preacher's kid. So I've lived in a glass house for, let's see, I'll be 44 in a couple weeks. So I've lived in a glass house basically my whole life. So everybody sees everything that I do. And then couple that with, hey, let's just put your life online, Josh.
Yeah.
Let's just do content. And you get a haircut, people notice. If your beard's too long, your beard's too short, or you didn't brush your teeth, like, take the glass house and multiply it and magnify it by 1,000, and that's the life I live. um but I yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And like I said, I
Yeah.
sleep a little bit here and there. I serve on some nonprofit boards. Still dad, and the crazy world of dating and all of that stuff. So I've been through divorce, I've been through dating, I've been through being alone, like all of those things. So I knew we talked about before, like open book and vulnerability and all that stuff. Like that's my thing. And the social media fought it, and then I'll give it back to you is I love when people say, I needed that today. Or
Yeah.
Josh, that hit me right in the mouth today. Or how do you know what's going on in my brain? That's when I know that my past trauma or past pain or past experiences are what everybody else is going through. And I love to share that because I feel like people, when they're in the middle of something, regardless of what that is, they feel like they're alone. They may have their one or two people, or they may have family or friends, but when that goes away, or the phone call drops, or whatever that may be, they feel alone. And I don't ever want people to feel like they're going through something alone. I've been there and gone alone through stuff, and it's not fun. So I try to do relatable content, and I ruffle some feathers, and I do all those things to, I have a predominantly female following that's online. If you're a man, you have predominantly female, you have predominantly male. That's I would love to have more male followers because I think some of the stuff that I post doesn't, if you so, we'll put it this way, women are going to say, hey, you should watch what Josh is saying, and the guys are like, I'm not listening to what that dude's saying.
Yeah.
Like there's all of that there. So I wish I had more, because I feel like some of the times I'm talking to myself in the mirror, but I'm really wanting to talk to other men and go, bro, that's just not how you do that as a dad, or that's not how you do that with your wife, or that's not how you do that at work. And sometimes the message gets crossed. Men don't like to listen to women, women don't like to listen to men because the delivery sometimes is off. So there's that. So there you
That's
go.
fair.
Long answer to a short question to start off, but you got a
No,
lot there.
I love it. I mean, I guess it's fair to say that I mean, we don't know each other. We
Right,
met, and
right,
that's a deep term that is not really accurate. We both spoke
right.
at the same event in February of
Yep,
2023.
yep,
Amy and Jason had that event, and
yep, yep,
that's how I started following you. That's how I
yep,
just and I appreciate, to me, you feel real. You
yeah.
feel like you're dripping it all out there. You're adding a layer of comedy. And to me, it's easy to feel when you're being facetious and when you're being
Hmm.
like legitimately like I'm in pain right now versus,
Yeah.
and I love that about you. But
Thank
I've
you.
one thing I want to ask about
Yeah.
because it's been implied in some of your videos and just
Hmm.
I see it in your comments
Hmm.
because you use the word influencer and followers, and I would be inspiration and community. That's where I go with
Hmm.
those words. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. Like it's like because that's
Yep.
really what you're doing and what we're
Yeah.
doing
Yep.
in our with our people, right?
Absolutely.
But I
Absolutely.
notice at times like you get people who just completely read you the wrong way or take what
Oh
you're
yeah.
saying, and then they get upset. Like, how do you, because well, maybe you maybe already answered this because you're used to
Yeah.
living in a glass house. But
Hmm.
when people kind of go off on like they completely miss the point. I mean,
Sure.
I suppose on some level they're not the message
Sure.
isn't for them then.
Right.
But I also think there's something beautiful about allowing that exchange to happen
Yeah.
and you not taking it personally and
Sure.
it not affecting you, but I imagine does sometimes it affect you?
Um, yeah, I think so. I scroll back, like 4 years I've been on there, and then I took like a 6 or 7 month break from probably last June till December. I didn't create, I didn't post. I don't even know how many times. I could probably count on two hands how many times I actually opened TikTok. Now I was on Facebook and I would catch up with my friends because I think you've got the different audiences based on the platform. So I would go to Facebook and I would check on my family and my friends, and but I didn't post. I posted, TikTok, the ban was happening, right? And everybody was posting that, well, we'll see you later. The
Yeah.
world's ending, whatever. So like 3 hours left before it, I hadn't posted for months. Like I think I last posted like in June, and this was December, I think. Um, I posted like, I always do my pinkies up when I'm drinking something. Like that was always, I did it being funny in a video, and people are like, okay, he thinks he's fancy. I'm like, gotcha. And that's my
Yeah.
new thing, hashtag pinkies up. Like I love that. And if I drink something and people are like, sir, what is going on with your pinky? So I just took I think I was drinking a water, or I love club soda, or tonic water or whatever. So I think like 3 hours left before the band, I just used the song and I just kind of like over my heart, love you, whatever, and did the drink. And of course it exploded in like 3 hours because I hadn't been there.
Right.
So, and I had coming out of a very public relationship as well. So there was that. So the mental health of that going, okay, I, all of this is going on. Plus, I'm getting burnt out because it wasn't
Yeah.
a full-time job for me. I was spending way too much time for sorry, we're doing it. I it's not about the money, but you're going to spend the time, you want to get paid to do that. It was a little bit of money for the lot of time that I was spending, and then mentally I was just drowning. So there was a lot to kind of stop doing. Um, and when I came back to that, I finally read all my DMs, and I had friends that text me. Like, there's a handful. I mean, I've probably got 25 people in 4 years that I've given my actual phone number to. That's just not something I do. But even those people went unread for months. I mean, friends.
Yeah.
I talked to like these 5 people, but my DMs on all my platforms were coming like, "Are you okay? Are you alive? We haven't seen you, whatever." So that gave me that, okay, what I was doing was working, but it was killing me. How can
Yeah.
I make it not kill me, work for me? I'm obviously going through therapy and all that stuff. I was doing all of those things. Um, but the negative stuff I've learned over that last break, you're not gonna make you're and it's just like anything in life, you're not gonna make anybody happy. I've been a salesperson since I was in third grade. Insurance is one of those things that you don't sell. It's you're selling yourself, you're selling the company. Insurance is a heart business. If you don't have a heart for people, you're not gonna do well. I think social media is a heart business in a sense because, like you said, people can see right through you being fake, right through you being fake. And I love one of the big things that I do. I love to meet people. Like I absolutely love to like I'll pull up in a city or say, "Hey, I'm going somewhere," and I'll pull up and have coffee. Male, female, doesn't matter to me. Coffee's very, it's not a date. It's not like this weird whatever. And they're like, "Hold on a second. You, this is you." Yeah, like you really are like this in real life. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it takes too much energy to be fake. People do it, and then people see right through there. So the negativity and the hate and all of that stuff, and I've got it from the relationship side to stuff, parenting stuff, like stuff that I say. And Chat GBT is a beautiful thing. So when I don't always, and I've never been one to be able to say things my call it ADHD, call it OC, call it whatever you want. In the 80s, my son has some of that stuff, and I had it too. I'm sure we all did, but you were in the 80s and you were a boy, and it's like rub some dirt on it, you're just fine. But I don't always say things like I mean them. So
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT a little bit to say, hey, this is what I'm trying to say. Make it sound nice or whatever it is. But like you said, some people don't, some people get the point. They get that I'm there's seriousness in my post. There's deep, sometimes there's deep pain, deep hurt. Sometimes it's something I've gone through with family, sometimes it's gone through with friends, sometimes it's somebody else. But the underlying thing that I've always done since the age of 2, and my parents will tell you the same thing, is the humor that you said. So if people understand, and I say this in relationships too, is if you know where it's coming from, it doesn't really matter what's said. It's going to be how you perceive it and how you digest it. Um, but man, some people are brutal. But
Yeah.
it's nothing near what I dealt with as a kid and what I dealt with as a teenager. One of the things that's kind of drives me, like I was bullied for physical attributes as a kid from age of 4 till I was 30 some years old. So somebody online that's sitting behind a computer typing, going, your hair or your like whatever it is, you can't dance or you're like whatever it is, it used to bother me because I'm like, man, I'm a people pleaser. I want to make sure that I have it, keep everybody happy. And then I learned I'm like, I could change that, and then I'm gonna make somebody else mad, or somebody else is
Yeah.
gonna go, yeah, you did that wrong, or you said this wrong, whatever. Now I'm just like, you know what? Sit behind your computer, sit behind your, because I do it. I'm like, man, I that's not cool what they said. And then I look at the comments and I'm like, oh, I took it my own way. Not that it's right or wrong, but I took it, it just hit me differently. So yeah, the negativity's horrible. The DMs are horrible. Like people are just mean. And that
Yeah.
doesn't change based on when you're younger to when you get older, and no matter what job you do.
100%. What I heard in a lot of that is you have amazing boundaries, sir.
Yeah, oh, I have set those. It has
Yeah,
taken me a long time to
me
set
too.
those because I want to go, I want to go off on people. And
Yeah.
therapy has helped. I have a good, strong, like, we call, so and people that are listening, my handle is the Josh Griffith, THEE, 2 E's. Now, people are like, oh, and I first did that. People are like, oh, here he goes, elevating himself. Has
Listen to
nothing to
this
do with that.
pinkies up guy.
Think he's up, he's elevating himself, he's arrogant, he's whatever. the is from, I'm from Ohio, so I'm a Buckeye. So it's the Ohio State. Now, I also live in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's the University of Virginia. Now they spell them with, it's just THE, but that's been ingrained in people. So the Josh Griffith doesn't sound cool at all. And I'm like, I'm going with the, So where that came from. So people were like, what is going, it's back to my roots of being in Ohio. I know where I came from. I grew up in a small town of 1,500, 1,800 people in Ohio. My family was farmers. We moved. I was a preacher's kid. And I've always had this big personality, and that gets me in trouble. Like, he's arrogant, he's this. And I've been that. Let's not mistake that. I was an arrogant punk jerk, you name it, as a husband, as a 15-year-old, as a 20-year-old. Shoot, probably yesterday. I don't know,
Yeah. We all have our
but there's
moments.
right. I have my moments, but it's where it comes from, and I have a heart for people, and I don't always do that the best. I don't think any of us do. But
No.
therapy has truly helped me with boundaries. Therapy has truly helped me be and I was telling somebody about this yesterday. Um, Alone and lonely are two totally different things. I was lonely and alone, and that's a miserable place to be. And my therapist is like, what do you do when your kids aren't there? What do you do when you're not working? I'm like, shoot, I'm always hanging out with friends or always on the phone. She's like, no, 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 no. We're not going to do that. I need you to sit in it because you have to figure out how you can be alone and not be lonely. And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound fun at all. But that's been this huge process, that and boundaries. And like, man, I can sit here on my couch and watch TV. I don't have to have a date. I don't have to have my dad over. I don't have to have my sister. Like, I don't have to have friends over. I'm okay. And the tough part or the good part is like, I'm getting so comfortable with that. I'm like, as social as I am, I'm like, I don't feel like going to the office today, or no, I don't feel like going to that meeting today. But boundaries are something that I think we all should work on. But I put in a lot of work with those.
Yeah. It's amazing. Well, and I think
Yeah.
become, like I say, love the eye and friend, right? Like become your own
Yes.
best friend. If you can't sit in a room alone with yourself, then who's going to want to sit with you?
Right. True.
I mean,
Very, very true.
and I think
Very,
it's
very
one thing
true.
to be alone in a room alone. It's also something to be alone in a big group of people. And I think there are people out there who experience that as well. And
Yeah.
I just think it's such a beautiful thing when you can go online and be genuine and take it from all sides, right? Because I mean, some people, the funny thing is my perception of that is they all get it. It's just some people feel punched in the gut and other people
Right.
feel seen and heard and understood.
Yep. Yep.
And it just
And they
depends
can't
on,
handle and they can't handle that. Like,
right.
one of the things that I do, like the filter thing, right? Like, men use filters too, but women use filters because that's a society thing. This
Yeah.
is how we're supposed to look as females. Used to be the tabloids and all that stuff. Now it's hits you in the face all the time. My sister dealt with it. My mom, all women deal with that. Men, now we just put a hat on or sunglasses and a beard and we can hat fish people or we can beard fish people or whatever. But I, I'll hit everybody in the mouth with that stuff of women. I'm like, listen, you're going to have to take that filter off because what if you get lost? None of us are going to know what you look like if we find you. Now, some women think that's funny. They're like, Josh, that's so funny. We'll tell the men to take their hat off. I'm like, bro, take your hat off for sure. But it's the women that get punched in the gut or the guys that get punched in the gut. They're like, well, bro, you're ugly. Or, sir, what do you put a filter? I'm like, hold on. I'm calling everybody out. I'm talking to myself. If I want to go incognito or get a different look, I'm going to put, I don't have glasses. Like, I have LASIK. If I want to go a different look, I'm putting my glasses on with no prescription in them. That's a form of that too. Like, that's just an
Right.
accessory to me. So I'll call it all out. But like you said, people get it and they're like, okay, there's something underneath there that Josh is trying to, whether it's coming for me or I'm trying to help somebody. But yeah, some people just, oof, they just hate it. And it's like, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you. So I stay away from topics. Like, like I said, born and raised preacher's kid, very involved in my church now. Christian since I was little. I make mistakes. I say words at times and not, but I don't have any problem playing Christian music or having a worship night on a live or whatever. I stay clear away from politics. I think there's some people that dive in one way or the other, whatever aisle they dive in, they dive out. I stay away from that. But anything else is really on the table for me. I talk race, I talk money, I talk all those things, and some people just don't like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. But you're not gonna make everybody happy. You can't.
No, and I think one of the best things I ever did for myself was to realize I can't heal the world, I can't please the world, and if I show up as me, that's the best thing I can do. And
Right?
I see that in you, and
Mm.
I just love how you show up. I'm curious about because well, we've talked about people sort of attacking, right? We've talked about the
Yeah.
people who feel punched in the gut and then punch back. Do
Right.
you ever have moments where because I mean, I make it sound like all your content is funny and lighthearted, but
Right.
the reality is it's not. There are
Not.
times where I see your posts and I'm like, ooh, that's a spot. I
Yep.
feel for him and I've
Yep.
been there or I am
Yep.
there depending on the day. I'm curious if
Yep.
there's ever moments where you receive the exact opposite of the criticism from your community and you feel seen and loved and supported and you get that, or if it's just too hard through the social media lens to be able to do you get those people leaning in and saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
I see you,"
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
actually feel that, like
Yeah.
supported from it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel some of the things, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and she lives in Kentucky. She's like, Josh, because we were talking about Robin Williams. This was just this morning. Robin Williams. She's like, I love Robin Williams. She's like, you need to take I do this man in the bathroom thing where I'm like lip syncing and everybody wants to give
Yeah.
me the song or whatever. She's like, you need to do movie quotes. Cause I started like, I'm like movies all day. And I'm like doing Mrs. Doubtfire or I'm doing, what she's like, you should really do that. She's like, you got to do Robin Williams. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. But what you're saying is when people lean in, she's like, Josh, you're a great actor. She's like, and I say that not because you're somebody fake, but she's like, why didn't you ever try to go of an actor? Did you go to acting? Like, she's asked me these questions. I'm like, no, this is just me. And she's like, you're really good at it. So those times that I'm wanting to get what you said, something when I'm trying to get a point across of it being sad or vulnerable or whatever, now there are times more often than not where I'm in it. I'm not a, I always tell people I'm a social creator. I'm not a social poster. So I'll
Mhm.
be in that mood and I'll post it and I've got 80 some drafts right now, videos that are already done sitting, just ready to go. So I, I will sit in it and create it. And then I overthink the song and the quote and all of that stuff because I've got a purpose for posting it. If it's to call somebody out or if it's to be funny or if it's to hit somebody somewhere and go, "Hey, this is for help." But I can put that I can put that in if I guess that makes sense. Um but I love when I have a great community. My TikTok community is amazing. They call them the family, like THEE family. So we go in and I play and so I started back going on live again. And when I end my live every night with um Larry Fleet and Morgan Wallen's song "Where I Find God." They did it live a few years ago. I, when Morgan posted it, it had like less than 500 views. Well, I'm in my kitchen doing my live a couple years ago, and I'm on my TV going to YouTube, and I'm a huge Morgan Wallen fan. I'm like, let's play this one. Well, it's Morgan Wallen does the second verse, and then they harmonize to the end and it's basically I'm not too good at praying, but thanks for everything. I use that opportunity and I don't talk during like I will lip sync or I'll sing Morgan's part, that second verse. But everybody in the chat's like, thanks for everything, Josh. Thanks for everything, Josh. Thanks for everything. That's I get so much joy from that people
Mhm.
sit there and I'm completely silent and this music's going every single time I go live. Thanks for everything. Or I get DMs after the fact going, hey, I needed that tonight. But that's the part that I love. That and like you were saying, people checking on me like, hey, you good? That's when
Yeah.
I know that people are like, is he okay? Because a lot of that mental health stuff is that men say we're good, and women do
Yeah.
too. But like, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good. So when I post something like that, because I've had a conversation with a guy friend and go, okay, it's time for me to put this out for my little community here. I don't have the hugest community, but I can make an impact. I put this out there. Maybe it helps. Maybe this woman at home is dealing with this with her husband, and she just needs to open the door for him or it's a teenage boy, or maybe a guy's going to see this and go, man, Josh is talking about going to therapy. I need to go to that. So when those DMs start coming back, like, hey, are you okay? Then I know it's hit something. And I'm like, okay, then I need to go on this, or I need to talk about it on my podcast, or I need to post it somewhere. But yeah, I have such great supporters and such great family that they know they know if something's wrong, even if the posts aren't saying something's wrong, I guess, if that's the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. No,
I
that's
love that.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
so good. The other thing I love about what we're talking about and how you show up in the world is I think a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about things like mental health, death, right? Like when somebody dies, how many times do people not say anything because they
Right.
don't know what to say and they're afraid they're
Hmm.
going to say it wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I think mental health falls into that category as well. At
Yep.
least in my
Yep.
experience, I find that that's true, right? It's like, well, and in
100%.
my family, it was like therapy. No, no, we don't do that,
Right.
right? We just
Right.
shove it under the rug and
Right.
pretend we're fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. Don't
Everything's
say anything
fine.
to anybody. Everything's good.
Smile,
Right.
pretend, and it's like,
Smile
yeah,
and pretend.
it's such a hard thing, and I'm not saying everybody's there and like that, but I
Right.
just think some people have a really hard time talking about it, and to have someone like you who can show up regularly, even with
Mhm.
pauses, but show
Yep.
up, be consistent, be real,
Hmm.
and there's something about the way you show up that's really engaging as well.
Hmm.
It's like you want to lean in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me, but my
No.
perception is like you feel real, you feel authentic. I understand that sometimes your videos are like, "Hey, I'm remembering this experience. I'm not currently in it, but I do know what that's like." And then
Hmm.
other times it's like, "Oh, this is a real time moment."
Hmm.
And then sometimes it's just like, hey, let's lighten shit up. Sorry, let's
Yep.
like
Yeah.
let's lighten
True.
things up
True.
and make it just let's have a breath.
Right. We're having fun. Right. Because I think that
Exactly.
that's the other thing about the world that we all live in. And one thing, and I have a couple that I post like on my Instagram story that I have saved. There's a couple, men, it's okay to, there's a couple of those. And then there's,
Mhm.
this bit, I love the analogy, like the things I worry about, it's this huge circle. And then it's like things that could happen is here. And then the ones like the things that are, they're going to happen, it's small. And I think people, like we talked about before, is people get so entrenched in, I'm going through this alone, or
Yeah.
I'm so worried, or I'm doing this alone. I'm like, no, no, no. You're not doing it alone. And we can come up here beside you. If I could, I used to reply to all DMs. I know that sounds crazy, but I used to reply to all DMs on Instagram. So I would like the comment and I would reply. And I had people going, how are you doing that? How? How?
Four
How?
hours of sleep. That's
With
how.
right 4 hours of sleep, but I'm owning a business, I'm being a dad, I'm
Yeah.
like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, that's the part of the connection that I love, because just like nobody knows, and like what my day is to, like, after this and before this, nobody knows when I post a video what kind of mood I was in. I could be dancing in my kitchen and Josh is having fun. Well, that was last week. The
Right.
today, I didn't feel like getting out of bed because I'm sick. They don't know that, but that's I think the huge obligation is not the right word. The big maybe obligation, or like the that I feel like, hey, this is what people expect from me. It's me. My family's expected it for so many years. Then I was in the office. People are like, okay, Josh is going to do this. Now I've done it to myself and I love it. Like, hey, here's what I'm putting out there. What's like, well, Josh, you didn't get any motivational stuff today. Or people, I needed that today. Or if they don't get that, what's going to happen to them? Are they going to go get it from somewhere else? Are they following the right people that take them this way, instead of they needed me to take them this way? It used to be super heavy, keep me up at night. That's not why I don't sleep at night now,
Yeah,
but
I know.
it used to be why I was like, my brain didn't stop running. And I'm like, man, like, this is a huge obligation. But, and I'll pull it back to you talking about DMs. I have a DM, and I'd have to go back a while, but it's probably been 3 years ago that somebody, and I think it was a guy. I think I'm trying to remember back. I posted a dancing video or something funny with a caption. I can't remember the video now, but the DM said, I was going to take my life today,
I'm having
and I
goosebumps.
came across your video, and what you said and how you said it made me go get help. And I will never be able to thank you enough, and I will probably never meet you, but I wanted you to know.
Yeah.
So when I get tired, when I get like you talk about the negativity. I'm like, dude, I saved somebody's life by a 7-second video. I could care less if you think my shoes match my pants or
I
I'm a good
love that.
dancer or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. That right there. And then the constant stuff of, hey, I needed that. Josh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm like, I, I would have never, like, I didn't set out at, 5 years old or 10 or 20, whatever it is to go to save somebody's life or to be influential to get them to, hey, I went to therapy or whatever that they needed to do. But whatever I can do, if it's one person on a video, people are like, oh, your video didn't get this. I'm like, I don't care. It it hit the people that it needed to hit. I got the comments that they needed to put, and if they feel better, then I feel better. And I'll
Yeah.
go on to, I'll do another one. But
Yeah.
it's it's wild. Social media is a wild world. The world is,
Oh,
and I was gonna say, the world is crazy. We're all going through stuff you don't ever know. And it's that cliche of like, I go into a meeting today, everybody could be happy. They could lost their parent. They could have no money in their account. They could not have a job. Like you don't ever know. So why not brighten their mood with a video or a smile or holding the door? Because you could also be the reason why they fall off or why they like, man, I needed this from him today, or I needed this from her today, and you've added more fuel to it. You don't know how far you're pushing them away from, you know, hey, getting that job, or what's the connection, or taking that extra bit of time. As annoying as, and I have them too, like people are like, oh my gosh, you're literally DMing me on every single video. Like, come on. But if I don't like it, if I don't respond to it, it's like, you can't, like, you agree with everything I say. That's a problem. Like,
yeah.
just disagree or something. No, you don't like every outfit I have or every dance I have. It's got to be, that's not okay. Like, I don't treat me like you would treat your best friend or something like that. Cause like you said, I am real. I am, I'm no shame in a phone. Like, that's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
what I like. That's it. Like, I don't get embarrassed. I don't, none of that stuff. I don't get nervous and I don't get embarrassed. But people are like, oh, I'm like, followers doesn't make you who you are. It's what you
Right.
do when that camera's off. It's how you conversate with people in your day to day. Because if I'm all of that, and look, I struggle as a dad. I don't always do the best things, and I haven't always done the best things. But if that comes through in my video that I'm this perfect person, and you see me out in public, or you hear from my family or my friends or whoever, and they're like, Josh is fake. No, I suck as a dad. I suck as, I'm just not good at all of those things. But I think that's where social media gets lost, is everybody, it's a highlight reel, and
Mm.
everybody wants the highlight reel when I'd rather just post real life. Like, I spilled my coffee, or my clothes didn't match, or what, like, that's real. So
Yeah.
it's wild world.
You touched on something earlier that I'm curious how you feel about it. I feel like sometimes when we're going through it, like when people are really in it and they feel a little bit lost and they're looking to know that they're not alone, there is something about this is going to sound so weird, but connecting with someone you don't know and you've never met and you may never
100%.
meet that is
100%.
more supportive and less vulnerable somehow than leaning into a friend or a family member
100%.
because also it's on the other side of a screen. There's no judgment that's coming back
Right.
at you. There's
Yep.
no so I don't really know my point in that other than to say, like, doing what you
It's true.
do is way more connected
Yes.
than we may realize. Like
Yeah.
the stuff we put out, whether it's on a
Mhm.
YouTube channel or Instagram or TikTok or Facebook
Yep.
or whatever I mean, I say courageous enough. I mean,
Right.
say you're not
True.
embarrassed and all that, but at
True.
some
Right.
point everybody gets
Right.
vulnerable every now and again,
Right.
and you're willing to do that
Absolutely.
on camera. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I just
Well, and
think
I
there's
think
something
people
about that.
they're scared. They're scared to do that. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that, on my professional dad's podcast, there's 5 of us guys, and we just talk through it, man. Like, look, I did this week and this isn't good. Like, I messed up. I messed up. But people, guys saying it to guys, women do it all the time. Women are cool, like, hey, girl, girl, I feel like I'm doing a video right now. Like, girl, like, this is what he did, like, whatever that is. Guys have a hard time with that because the only person that wants better for you in this life is your father.
Mhm.
Every other man in your life, as a man, just wants to do better than you. Your dad's the only one that wants you to do better than him. Everybody else, we feel like it's a competition. Like if I go play golf, like I'm gonna win. I'm not going to. I'm not that good, but I want to win. I don't want anybody else to win. Or if I'm at work and I'm like selling something or whatever. So when you when you're being vulnerable like that, especially men, if I share the fact that, hey, you know what I did in my last relationship is I was this, and this, then all of a sudden it's like, man, dang, he doesn't know what the heck he's doing. If they've already learned that, or they haven't done that before. So I think that's part of that being vulnerable. It's like, look, none of us are perfect. There was only one perfect person. None of us are perfect. But if we're able to share that, if I share my vulnerability with the person that has been through it, they can help me now. My dad
Yeah.
said my divorce, my dad said, Josh, here's the thing you can do. And I was lonely, I was miserable, I was in it, and it just was horrible, and the family and all that stuff. My dad said, here's the thing. I told you this when you were younger. I'm going to tell it to you now. You can use this tragedy to triumph. You can and take your pain and turn it into purpose because here's what the good Lord's going to do. He's going to use your pain to create a purpose and you're going to help a young couple or you're going to help a young man or you're going to help somebody that thinks he's alone and he's going to come to you somehow. Social media, whatever, and he's going to go, "Man, I'm going through this. What do you think?" And you're going to have all the answers. He said that's how you have to look at all that. So if we as people, men, women, child, whatever it is, if we're not able to open up and share and go, I need help, or what do I do? Then you're robbing yourself of people trying to help you get better and grow, which is what we all want to do. And what I tell my
Yeah.
son, well, I need you to be 1% better than you were yesterday. That's it. I don't need you to go from 1 to 100, just better than you were yesterday. Sports, attitude, schoolwork, relationship with your sister, relationship with your mom, relationship with me, your friends. I need just 1% better than yesterday. That's what I'm striving for, and that's what I need you to do. And that's all we can do. And we
Yeah.
need community, regardless of what that is. I've met
100%.
some of my greatest and best friends that will be friends for life on that stupid app.
Yeah.
Like I always tell people, they're like, but my friends I'm going on vacation with on Sunday. I met her and her family on there, and they have taken me wherever they take me to Vegas. They taken me like, hey, do you want to go? I'm like, well, I don't really have the money to do that or whatever. They're like, no, we got it. And I'm like, why? Because
Yeah.
we love what you're doing, because we love you. Like some of the best friends that I will have for life, I've met on that app. And I haven't even, some of them I haven't even met in real life yet. They're like my family is like they're your friend. I'm like, yeah, they're my friend. They're like, but when do you hang out? I'm like, we don't. We hang out online or whatever. And that's such a foreign concept for people because we've gone. It makes it a little bit easier that we went through COVID and we're like, everybody's getting hired and working from home, and then you go to like the company function. You're like, I already know you. Like, but
Yeah.
we've never met. It's like that. But you said it. There's that sense of behind the keyboard, behind the screen. He doesn't know my stuff unless I tell him. She doesn't know my stuff unless I tell them. We're not asking a bunch of questions about your past. We're just trying to be in the moment and trying to support people, but some of the most supportive, loving people that I mean, the amount of people that reached out to me when I was kind of taking a break or even on the weekend, like, hey, is everything good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. They're like, okay, your last post. And I'm like, oh no, I did that a month ago, but I'm just now they're like, okay, just making sure you're good. That's heartwarming. That's like
Yeah.
human, okay, they need this or I need this. It's wild. It's definitely
I think
wild.
it's such a beautiful thing when people can connect because I think there's just something about we're circling back to just knowing you're not alone.
Right.
Right? I mean, I think that's it. I think we all I mean, I do healing work. I mean, I believe we're all our own we do our own healing within, but we're
Yep.
not meant to do it alone. We're the only ones who can do it for ourselves. But we're
Correct.
not meant to do it alone by ourselves for
Right.
ourselves. We're meant to do
Right.
this in community. We're meant to do this with other humans. And
Yep.
I mean, as much as sometimes I get like, oh, I'm so over I'm so over this Zoom thing, Josh. I wish we could be in a coffee shop, face to
Yep.
face having this
100%.
conversation. There's also a piece of me that finds it a beautiful open door to be able to connect with people because sometimes that open door is simply them seeing one of your videos and seeing
Yeah.
supportive and choosing not to take their life that day
Yeah.
because of something you did or said. And then
Right.
other times it leads to something like I reached out to you and said, "Hey, I would love to have you on my podcast." Like,
Yep.
I don't even know if you remember meeting at that event, but I
Yeah.
was just like, I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like we're supposed to talk
Yep.
publicly because I feel like this is important and more people need to hear it and see it and know it,
Yeah.
right? And then
Hmm.
and then sometimes that leads to, I mean, I too have friends that only knew virtually for years. And then it's like, hey, you want to plan a trip together? Yeah, let's do that. And
Right.
then we do,
Right. And you
and we get
show up and you're
together.
like, what? Like, we're
Holy
cool
shit, I
together.
get
Like,
to hug you. Like,
right.
what?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's and people that don't like my dad and his wife like this, it's just this foreign concept of
Yeah.
like, hold on, you're going where? With who? Let me know when you get there and you're safe. I'm like, no, Dad, I'm good. He's like,
Yeah.
well, you don't know these people. I'm like, I kind of do, but I don't really know these people. But I mean, it's yeah, it's the Zoom thing took people by like just storm when we had to do that. And then
Yes.
it's like, obviously, you and I can connect. If we weren't on that event, right, then we weren't on this event, and then follow and look at like it just it's just bizarre. It's bizarre and it's beautiful all at the same time. And I
Exactly.
say friends all the time. And my son's like, are they really your friends, Dad? I'm like, they are my friends, but your idea of friends and my idea of friends is two totally different things. My idea of friends, yes, when that you have is was mine too, because we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So but now it's like I I've met so many people, I can literally pick up the phone and say, hey, I need help. Or hey, what do you think about this? Or and like I said, I overthink like every single post because I don't want to one, I don't want to offend, and that's not my nature. I don't see color, I don't see political line, I don't see sports tell like a huge sports guy, but I'm an Ohio State guy. And I joke all the time. I'm like, oh, you live in Michigan? I don't like anything from Michigan. Like that's my and people and the women and men, they're like, okay, Josh, we see, we'll have that banter back and forth, but I don't see any of that stuff. I don't hold any of that stuff. But yeah, it's just, it's wild because I overthink that I'm gonna make somebody mad and I don't. So if it's on that borderline of like, should I or should I not? I'm like, all right, FaceTime, share my screen. What do you think? And they're like, change this and don't, because those people that I have in that circle are like, they know the brand, they know my heart, and they don't want, like you said, somebody to go, oh, I took that wrong. The less people that take it not the way I'm supposed that I'm presenting it, the better. And then it's like, the last thing you want to do is get canceled because you said something that's
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So they keep me in check on all of that stuff. And even in real life, like, they're just like, I'm going, like I said, I'm going to the beach with them. They'll cuss me out, yell at me, do whatever. They don't care how many followers or fan, like I'm me. And
Yeah.
I think we put influencers, athletes, actors, we put everybody on a pedestal as we should. They do the same thing we do. And that's the whole cliche. We put our pants on at the same time. But it's like the people that I have close enough in my life are the ones that just treat me like a person because I am, but I need people in my life that'll call me on my BS, that'll call me on my stuff,
100%.
that'll just say, Josh, that was a crappy thing you did to your son, or you shouldn't have posted that, or you responded to that woman, or you like that's what I want in my life because that's what keeps me grounded and doesn't get me, he's so I hate that. I hate the fact they're like, you think you're above. No, I don't. I'm just using my platform and I don't care what you think. I'm trying to
Yeah.
make a difference in the world. And if I can change your heart or change somebody's health, change their day, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just me. Like I'm just me. And that's the people I think we all need in our life. Somebody that's not scared to call you on your crap. Like, no, that's
Exactly.
not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's such a fine line. You brought up the point about being a people pleaser
Mhm.
and really being intentional about being heart-centered. I guess that's what I heard from you
Yep.
there. But
Yep.
then also recognizing that like not everyone is going to love your message.
Right.
So the best choice there then is to show up as you, authentic to yourself, who you are a heart-centered leader.
Yep.
You are.
Yep.
And so that's what you can do. And that means sometimes you need to pause, be intentional, and get feedback from people
Yep.
who are willing to give you
Yep.
honest feedback so that
True.
you don't, I mean, because that's an important piece. If you didn't do that part, there's a good chance that your message would get muddy
Yeah.
in a way
Yeah.
that then your followers get muddy, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's
It's
already bad. It's already bad enough. Like, and I always say, and I joke and say it. I have, I don't know what TikTok is, 87% female following. My lives get like, you women are nasty. Men are gross too, but women are gross. But it I mean, I'm just calling it like it is. You
I
are.
love it.
I live it every single day. But you're right. If I don't have somebody to call me on that, if I'm in my live, like I have a phone that I use for my live, and then I have my actual phone that I play music on, so I can get text or whatever. Like my friends or my mods in there, they'll text and they're like, "Easy." Like if I'm
Yeah.
getting to a subject, or if I'm, doing, like I always joke, I'm like, somebody said last night, they're like, "Hey, I had a Tupac and Marilyn Monroe shirt on," and my buddy Brock, who him and his wife go to church with me, they live down the road from me. I'm like, "Bro, come to my house and get it. I'll give it to you." And of course, everybody in the chat's like, "Are you going to take it off on live?" I'm like, "Yeah, all the way." And my friend Abby was like, "Sir, no, you're not." I'm like, "Heck no, I'm not." But I want them to think that I am.
Yeah.
So they call me on that when I'm there because they get the brand, they get where the message is, and most importantly, they get my heart, and they don't want me to muddy any of that. And
Yeah.
and I love that. And I think people are scared to have those people in their life because they just want to be right, and they
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
want
Oh
the
yeah.
relationship. They don't want the consistency. And I'd rather be consistent, be real, and not be liked than, have everybody like me for being somebody that I'm not.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Be who you are because it's a really vulnerable thing. I mean, I feel like I showed up in the world tucking into the boxes of perfectionism and control,
Yep.
right? Like that's kind of
Hmm.
where I started. And then when I really decided that, or healed, when I got to the place
Right.
where I was like, you know what? I'm
Sure.
me, I like me, I'm going to reveal me. That is like the scariest thing because it's like, well, what if I reveal me and nobody likes me?
Yeah.
But to
True.
be in the place where you can pause, show up, and literally show up in your integrity, in your
Hmm.
truth, in your heart and soul, and then just put it out there, there is something truly beautiful about that, that is stunning, that you can't really put words to, but it shows in your followers, in your
Yeah.
community, not followers. It
Yep.
shows in your
Yeah.
community. It shows in
Community.
the
True.
people that are drawn to you. It shows in your
Yeah.
conversations and it shows in your content. And I think that's an
Yeah.
amazing thing.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking at the time and I know you're a busy man and you
You're
have
good.
places to
You're
go.
good. Yeah,
Well,
you're good.
before,
It starts at 4. I got till probably till 5 till I'm right here with our
all
meeting.
right.
So we're good.
So,
We're
well, I
good.
want to drop into, I did see that on I'm not on TikTok. I'm resisting
Don't
TikTok. I am
don't do it.
resisting TikTok. I am just resisting it all out. But
Don't
I
do
did
it.
see on your Instagram that you have like a subscriber option. And
Yep.
I'm just wondering if you'll tell me about that. Like, what does that mean? What does that look like?
I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't utilized that in a long time. So what the subscriber thing is on Instagram is that you can just give subscriber content. They pay, I think it's 4.99 or 5.99 a month, and they get like you can give all kinds of perks. Hey,
Oh,
their
like your
messages
extras.
or extras. They get extras. So it'll be stuff that you wouldn't post to everybody else. The subscribers would get something different.
You're taking that shirt
You,
off, aren't you? I'm just
Right.
kidding.
Yeah, we're taking the shirt off something like, no, ma'am, we are
I'm
not.
teasing.
What no. But on TikTok, you do the same thing. You can subscribe, but then they get certain like emotes, or like I put pictures in there. So like if they're in the chat, they can throw the pictures and emotes, they call them, that I've got. They're personal pictures of mine that I
Got
throw
it.
in there that you can throw in the chat, and then it has a little tag on there. So you have their name, and you have like a badge where like how they've gifted you, and then you have this little tagline. Well, it's four letters, so mine's THEE, and it's in yellow. So when
Nice.
people come in the chat, I can see, hey, they subscribe. They should get something extra. That's
Sure.
TikTok. Hey, do we get
Yeah.
an extra? They get the emotes. Do they get extra? I can do a subscriber only live where only people that subscribe can get there, and it's a little bit more vulnerable and a little bit more intimate. But you can do the same thing with Instagram. The same thing of, here's a story that goes to subscriber, or it goes to everybody else, or here's a live that goes to the subscriber. I haven't really utilized it. It's a it's another layer of content, which is
Sure.
fine. Um, but I just haven't. I did it before I took the break. But I just haven't got back to it. But it's a good way to connect with, folks that want to pay to have something different or
In the
something
community.
that not everybody else does. So,
Yeah.
and I use Discord and I use all those things for all that to kind of have announcements and all that. But there's so many options of community, like you said, and people just want. My buddy Matt that does our website and, or I mean, our community page and all that stuff. He's like, Josh, people just want access to you. That's what it comes down to. Whatever it is, an attorney, we want access. A doctor, we want access. He's like, you're in a different boat because not everybody can get access to you. That's
True.
just the way social media works. So how do I monetize on it? Yes, but how do I make it different than everybody else? How do I
Yeah.
get that access? And what I did when I had my podcast before and the one I do now is it's free now. I stream it on Facebook, or we had it, it was that platform you paid for, but you got like this after show where we're on the Zoom. It'd be like me and you here, and everybody's in the chat watching. And then after the show's over, we stop recording the podcast, and then everybody can turn their camera on, and we just sit there and chat.
Oh,
So
nice.
they
Yeah.
have this FaceTime with me or with the group, and that was some of the best. We called it the after show, but some of the best 30 minutes or 45 minutes, like that sometimes help people more than the podcast did because they
Yeah.
know they're not being recorded. They know it's not going out to the world because it was just us. And then they can sit there and go, Josh, this is what I'm going through. And the courage and strength of those individuals that were like, I'm gonna tell this to this influencer guy that has this many followers or his friends, and they're gonna judge me, for them just to share that out and go, what should I do? That was so beautiful that I actually love that. But it's just we just want access to people,
Yeah.
and that's one reason why when I go places, I'm like, hey, I'll announce where I'm going. Not that I'm LeBron or Jordan or whatever, but there are people that, and I had a lady, I was in, I don't even know where I was a couple weeks ago. I was sitting at a slot machine. Like, I was sitting at a slot machine. I don't know how to gamble, but I can hit the button like with the best of them. That's all I know how to do. I don't know how to play blackjack. I don't know how to do any of that stuff, but I can put my dollars in. So I'm sitting there by myself. I had friends that were there. And this lady came up beside me. She tapped me on the shoulder. She said, hey, are you Josh? I think I was in Kentucky, Indiana, somewhere. I don't even remember where like border of, I think it was Indiana. So she tapped me on the shoulder and she said, are you Josh? And I said, I am. And she said, Josh from TikTok? And I said, yeah. She said, what the hell are you doing in Indiana? I'm like, well, I'm just like, I couldn't go anywhere. And I'm like, I'm just visiting some friends. She's like, are you winning? Then we started having a conversation. She's like, I love your content. I love that it's relatable. You're so personable. She's like, I can't believe you're here. And I'm like, well, yeah. She's like, but you're you. And I'm like, I am me. Like it was this whole thing. And I'm like, you want, she's like, can we take a picture? Can we do this? I'm like, yeah. She's like, so she sat down and we talked for a few minutes and she's like, I, I can't believe you're here. This is so crazy. But that stuff right there. And then I peel it back and then I overthink it. And I'm like, so I tell my dad's like, what? I'm like, yeah. Like, did you ever think that people, he's like, I knew you were going to do something big, Josh. Like your mom and I knew that, but we didn't have any idea with this. And he's like, people pay to come hang out with you? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that's crazy to me. And I'm like, I know. But he's like, and my dad is like, obviously pastor, all that. He's like, Josh, but that just shows you the impact that people you're doing, but the impact that people can have on people that are not in their immediate daily life in person. You're having that impact on people and they like what you're saying. You're very charismatic, you're very real, you're very raw, you're very all those things. And they just want that. Just embrace that. Don't go too far because you can get off the beaten path, but it just goes to show you that you've taken this app and you've used it for good and you're sharing your experiences that, hey, it's not always been fun. I've gone through this, and this, and people need to hear that. And they need to hear it from a man. Because, like I said, women need to hear it from women too, but men need to hear that because that's not how my dad was raised. That's not really how I was raised. Or, men now, it's tough to, sharing feelings as a man is not one of those things that's, on every dad's bucket list to enforce with their son. But it's what
Well,
we do, and we need to do that.
Yeah, I think the other side of that or the other piece of that is I think it's good for women to see men doing
100%.
that. You know, it's not just
100%.
about the men to men.
True.
I think it's a beautiful thing for a woman to say, "Oh, look, there's a man doing something I've never seen before," which maybe it's not quite that extreme, but
Right.
I think
You're right.
you know,
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing. And the other thing I heard in what you were saying is connection.
Hmm.
You know, it's like community is one thing, connection is
Hmm.
another. Deep
Hmm.
in person, and in person can be on Zoom.
Yeah.
Connection is a beautiful thing that I
Yep.
feel like sometimes because of social media and because of Zoom and because of like the screen
Yep.
shield,
Yep.
we it sometimes gets lost in translation. And I think like I really appreciate you saying yes to this podcast, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that I feel like we're sitting here for an hour and there is connection. I don't
Yeah.
feel like we're
Absolutely.
sitting at a screen and that we're just like, you know,
Nope.
hands off. There's no like energetic reciprocity here. I
Right.
feel like we could be in a coffee shop. It doesn't
Yep.
feel that different to
100%.
me. The difference
No.
is we won't hug goodbye. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
We
I'm a
won't hug
hugger.
goodbye and we don't have a coffee. Neither one of us
Yeah.
have a coffee.
No, I have a tea.
You have a tea, right? And
I
I have
do have a
water.
tea.
But
Yeah.
you're right. And I think that's where I those are the people that I love to follow. Those are the people that I love to empower and impact. People less followers, more followers, doesn't matter. But you be real, be authentic, and connect. And sometimes, to be honest, like I said, 87% female followers. I also have to watch how I
Oh gosh,
connect.
yeah.
And I think women do the same thing. Like you want to connect and you like what's the expectation and what is he doing? Like, I posted something a long time ago that says not every man that says hi or hugs you or pays you a compliment is flirting with you. Some of us were just raised with manners. Like,
Yeah.
but there are times when it's like, okay, like, I shouldn't have said that because that could be taken. And that's another thing I've learned is just true intentions. Like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is not what I'm looking for. Just so you know, like, we can go to dinner or we can go to coffee, but this is not where I'm at. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just not. Or guys or whatever, like, bro, I don't like, hey, you want to sponsor this or whatever it is. I'm like, nope, like we're just gonna go. So I've learned that to be very intentional, be very open with communication, which has not been a strong point for me because I didn't want to hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
Like,
I
yeah,
think I think when you say it, I think the other thing that's really real, and it's how you show up. I think when you're congruent in your energy as well. Like I started in Thai massage. Let me just tell you,
right,
there's a connotation there that people think some kind of things are going to happen, and that's not how I show up in the world.
right,
But I was
right,
really congruent and firm in my energy. I never even had to say a word. It was clear
right. Yep,
energetically that that's if you're here for that, you might as well just take a step
right,
out because that's not what's going to happen here.
yep,
And I think that because it's honest and accurate in how you show up,
yep,
it translates as a whole picture, which then I think that's a fair, honest, and kind thing to way to show up with people because it's not confusing then,
right,
you
right.
know?
And I've done my fair share. I mean, I'll be
Yeah.
honest,
Oh
like
yeah.
I've done my fair share of like I guess in the dating world, like, hey, we go snap pictures back and forth to each other, like, okay, she could take it a certain way, shoot, I could take it a certain way, and like, hey, now this is then it's hard. The longer that goes without something being said, then it's like, okay, hold on, we're not in a relationship, or we're not
Yeah.
talking, or we're not like, oh, I was just being nice. I think you're attractive. I think like whatever it may be to man or woman, it's like, oh man, I really gotta, So
Yeah.
it's like you said, it's just about showing up and being open, being honest, being authentic, and just being the real. I got an event this weekend, like in Virginia Beach, like I gotta be like
Yeah.
I love like all my friends, like they had me in their phone as like none of them have changed it now that I've met. Like my friend in Atlanta, she's like, you're just and I'm like, can you change it to Josh? She's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But like I have a event this weekend where and she lives in Virginia Beach and she's a content creator as well. And her and I have been friends on there for 3-4 years probably. Well, her and I have never met ever. But I bring her on my live and people are like, and I call her my sister. They're like, we love your sister. I'm like, she's nothing. Like, I don't even like her half the time. So we're meeting up down there and we got a meet and greet or whatever, live music and all that stuff. People are like, I'm coming. I got people driving from North Carolina. Like, we're gonna come hang out. I'm like, I'm gonna hang out with you and your sister. I'm like, you don't want to hang out with her. I'm like, shoot, I may not even want to hang out with her. But the energy is there because she's very much just like, we'll just put it out there. Like, let's hang out. Like, it doesn't have to be I've hung out with plenty of like athletes and musicians and stuff like that that are famous. Being in Charlottesville, Dave Matthews, Carter's one of my favorite people on the planet. Carter and I'll sit in the car and he'll shoot he's just Carter to me.
Yeah.
But when you get on that stage, it's like he's the greatest drummer on the planet and has been forever. But it's just that, and it's the same way when, I go do stuff on a way, 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 way smaller scale, but it's about impact. He's making an impact musically. I'm going to make an impact the other, whatever my, parenting or whatever it may be. But it's just wild. It's just wild. It's a wild. I live a wild life. I'm like, somebody come spend like a weekend with me. Not like, hey Josh, let's come. Like, just come spend a week with me. You got to do my food, my coffee, my sleep schedule, like my whole schedule. Just come do it with me. And people are like, nope, I'm not doing it at all. So, but it's fun. I
It's
mean, it's fun.
yours.
It's
Yeah.
mine. I own it. The good, the bad, the ugly, and I always make sure take time for my son and take time for work and make sure I'm not I that's that compass. The compass
Yeah.
works. The moral compass still works.
Oh gosh, it's amazing.
Got to.
Gosh, I so appreciate
Are
you
you tired?
being
Are
here.
you
Not at
tired
all.
now from this
Dude, I
hour?
can keep up with you.
All right, good. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah,
That's what I like to hear.
you don't
We
scare
need like
me. You
another
don't
two
deplete
hours or
me.
something.
I feel like we amplify each other, not the other
Yes.
way around. So
Yes.
we're
We
good.
need like another 2 hours. Like let's do a part 2, 3, 5,
Let's
9,
do it.
11. Let's do
Let's
it.
do
I'm
it.
down. I'm down.
And
You just let
make
me
sure you
know.
share your contact information or whatever you want out there because I'll put it in the show notes. But is there
Okay.
any last golden nugget that you just want to throw out there before we wrap this up and call it a day
Man,
for the next
I
one?
my dad said this and it was I think it was Max Lucado. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And that applies, I think, to everything in life. And it's just, I could sell my I can sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves is what somebody told me before. And they're like, and I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. He's like, Josh, you can because you care about the person. It's not a sale to you. So I
Yeah.
think that's just like I try to live that each and every day. Like I could get on my live and like this podcast. Like, what the heck does he know? I care. I care about what I do. I care about what I put out there. My job, a father, dating, like whatever it is, I care. And I think if people live by stop elevating yourself and your degree, if you have a degree or you're this or you're that, like just show people you care. People need genuine connection and care coming from deep within. They could care less about what you know until they know that first.
Absolutely. That seems like a great way to wrap up. I'm gonna hit stop on the record and then
Yep.
we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you. See ya.